Is the scum season, scum year, you feel me? And on. We just making moves after moves after moves, hits after hits after hits. That's a fact.
May the 8th. 1996. It was a normal day like any other in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Passing cars were bumping Tupac's album All Eyes on Me, which had only been out for 2 months but already racking up 5 million sales in the midst of his public beef with Biggie Smalls. The Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony had just dropped and was finna go on to dominate the Billboard rap charts for the next 6 weeks running. Oh, and a rainbow-haired clout demon by the name of Daniel Hernandez was born, and the rap game would never be the same. Now, despite growing up to look like the love child of a men's room wall and whichever Oompa Loompa managed the Skittles department, Danny Hernandez was actually born of a Mexican mother and a Puerto Rican father, and growing up to earn his colourful stripes on the mean streets of Bushwick, Brooklyn in New York.
This is the first time I ever announced what's my nationality, so I'm Mexican, Puerto Rican, and that's who 6IX9INE is. But I was born here in America. I was born in Brooklyn. But I love my Mexican people.
Now, Danny had a tough upbringing. His biological father was thrown out of the house when he was only 3 years old for shooting dope in the bathroom. God damn it, Daniel Sr., how many times do I have to tell you that we shoot dope in the living room like a family? Now, Danny's mother would end up finding a new man that would stay in their life for close to 10 years and raising young Danny as his own son. But unfortunately, a pivotal moment in his life came when his stepfather was murdered outside the family home in 2010, Danny being only age 13 at the time.
I just lost my pops when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? I lost my pops. I felt like my pops was a superhero. Like, you know what I'm saying? I felt like my pops was invincible. So when they took my pops from me, I felt naked.
Now, while he didn't actually witness his father's murder, young Danny had got word of what happened, made his way up the street, and ended up seeing his father dead. A moment which had an enormous psychological effect on him.
Were you there when it happened? Because I know that
it was a block away.
It was a block away.
Yeah, and I was there. I got to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was just, and it was just like, yo, your dad is on the floor. Like, it was broad day. Like, an hour before that. Like, my dad asked me to go to the supermarket with him, and I was like, no, I want to go, just go. Yeah, I got PTSD and all that shit. Like,
now, according to his amazing interview on No Jumper, which you should definitely go and watch in full, he was expelled from school in the 8th grade because he just started blacking out from rage following the passing of his father.
And I remember blacking out. I would black out, like, you know what I'm saying?
In terms of like rage?
Yeah, in rage.
Really?
Like, I was, yeah, so I'm like.
And beyond the heavy psychological burden that this had put on young Danny, without his stepdad at home, the family was left without a breadwinner, putting the whole family through some really hard times.
That we would go to sleep with no food in our stomach, and it would hurt. Like, and my mom, she would like lay over and cry because she hear how screeching my stomach would get. Like, you know what I mean? It was bad, bro. Like, I used to wear sneakers out the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
So it was up to Danny and his older brother Oscar to make ends meet for the family. And they initially did this by getting legit jobs.
My first job was a busboy. And I got fired because I wasn't strong enough to carry the plates.
Man, I'm surprised they even let this kid in the kitchen. It doesn't get much worse than finding a fluorescent pink pube garnishing your Cobb salad, does it? So the restaurant game was a dead end, and thus Danny and Oscar naturally turned to trapping.
I just started trapping with my brother.
Okay.
Now, originally they were selling weed, but after he didn't quite hit the revenue targets that he planned for himself, Danny decided to upgrade his inventory to include heroin, or heron, if you're like me and you watch too many gangster movies. And for a brief time, he even landed a sweet gig working at the counter of the bodega, where he could conveniently sell that sweet vein candy over the counter.
Okay.
Or I was working
and selling heroin?
Yeah.
From behind the bodega? Oh my God, I love this guy.
But as time went by, it seemed like selling heroin wasn't quite cutting the mustard. And so a 15-year-old Danny would try and make a fast buck by beginning to sling the only substance known to man that's 10 times more addictive than heroin. No, not Chinese fentanyl, streetwear. Now, we all remember that truly uninspired era of streetwear that saw everyone and their mum walking around with the word Pyrex printed all over their dick and butt. Created by the world's laziest fashion designer, or the world's most successful talentless finesser, depending on how you look at it, Virgil Abloh. Well, long before Danny Hernandez had ever screamed into a mic, he tried to use fashion and an unusual aesthetic to shill for attention on social media. So Danny borrowed some inspiration from Virgil Abloh's Pyrex vision line, but added his own little twist. Rather than Pyrex, he walked the streets of New York, wearing clothes with provocative slogans such as STD, fuck N-word, and HIV gang. In fact, he even explained the origins of his HIV gang, saying that many of his friends growing up had it and that he did the AIDS walk yearly.
I used to do the AIDS walk every year. I had a couple friends that had it.
Okay, you might laugh at this, but HIV Gang is the only gang looking out for 6ix9ine in jail. And sure, you might think he looks like a fool for wearing these clothes, but god damn it, this actually worked. With several images of these crimes against fashion going viral on Instagram and Reddit. And around these times, he began to get known on social media circles as Pussy N-word or Danny the Bodega Boy.
I got the perfect shirt, bro.
Which one?
Look, hold this.
Pussy. Pussy eater.
But also around this time, Danny began to use the Instagram handle Tekashi6IX9NY, being one of the earliest instances of him using that name online, but we will get into the meaning of that later. From here, Tekashi began to do literally anything to get social media attention, including this famous moment where he went viral for pulling a pedigree on a naked thotty, which is very important for me to point out, was completely consensual, pre-planned, and thus does not violate any of YouTube's terms of service, which means that hopefully I can actually show you this. I mean, it looks like more of a 6'1" to me. But anyway, that light-hearted clip became one of Tekashi's most viral moments, which he would brag about for years to come.
I don't know if you ever saw a video of me back in the day when I pedigreed this girl.
Why'd you pedigree a girl?
I don't know. I was doing viral shit. I was literally
playing?
mad
Are
at
you
myself.
serious?
Nah, I was obviously playing. Like,
Oh.
it went
You wasn't
viral. It was on
seriously
Worldstar.
taking-
Like, you know what I'm saying?
And as his Instagram accounts began to pick up steam, he made extra effort to become more and more outrageous, which included upping the ante on his ridiculous tattoos. Sure, a lot of people don't like that 6ix9ine monogram arm tattoo, but what they don't realize is that every digit is actually a needle target. But being outrageous on social media did have its consequences, and he supposedly had numerous Instagram accounts taken down for posting sexually explicit content, whiling out, and you know, that pedigree.
Everybody know who Tekashi6ix9ine is.
Always naked girls or what?
Always naked girls, me pedigreeing girls, you know what I'm saying? Me catching head.
So, a young Tekashi had become a master of clout chasing in the worlds of streetwear and viral vines. But it was in 2014 that he would take the plunge and truly join the Champions League of clout chasing chicanery, the rap game. Considering what a master Tekashi came of viral clout goblinism, a lot of people might be surprised to find out he didn't even originally want to be a rapper. But he was encouraged by the people around him to put his wacky aesthetic to good use and start spitting, purely because he looked so interesting.
I started off just, you know, wearing clothes that said HIV. Everyone from my neighborhood was just like, yo, you look mad cool, like, you know what I mean? So I didn't really want to be a rapper or whatever. I just started making music because everybody was just like, yo, you look mad cool, like.
So it seemed like Tekashi6ix9ine had his first crack at rapping sometime around 2014. And many of the first ever tracks that he'd worked on around this time later leaked, giving us a glimpse into what he sounded like at the very start. But in August of 2014, the first official song and music video under the name of Tekashi6ix9ine releases with the simple title, 6ix9ine. Now musically, it all sounds very early era ASAP Rocky to me, and I can't actually play you a comparison on YouTube, but go and listen to Rocky's first mixtape and some old 6ix9ine and you'll be able to hear it. Now in line with his antics getting him the ban hammer from Instagram, it was no surprise that the 6ix9ine music video was quickly taken down from YouTube. This probably had something to do with many gratuitous shots of 6ix9ine getting head and a whole bunch of frames of actual hardcore porno spliced into the video like some kind of face-tatted Tyler Durden. Most interestingly, the video also included several scenes that glorified 6ix9ine's life as a smack dealer, as the video actually depicts him getting phone calls from tweaking junkies who are desperate to have their fix while he is casually relaxing at home, having a menage with two trap house thotties. Now we all know that rappers like to promote their side businesses in their music, but I've got to say, 6ix9ine is one of the earliest viral rap marketers here, using this video to promote his booming heroin selling business. This babyface 17-year-old hanging out the side of a Lambo sure seems like a trustworthy H dealer. I think I'd have a much better experience buying from him than that last guy, Spider. I mean, last time he stole one of my teeth. But apparently it wasn't enough for him to simply depict himself as a smack dealer in this video. No, because about 4 minutes in, we get a depressing cutaway sequence where the music stops and we see a junkie shooting a needle close up, before 6ix9ine abruptly comes back rapping out of the side of a Lambo. It's such an abrupt shift of gears that I actually felt sorry for the junkie. I mean, Tekashi, you really killed his buzz, man. Your death metal shout raps are really not the appropriate soundtrack to a heroin nap. It's at this point that the music video shifted from an ASAP Rocky tribute act to a SoundCloud remix of Requiem for a Dream. Honestly, it's such a surreal shift of gears that you kind of have to respect the gall of 6ix9ine for trying to pull something so intentionally jarring. And that kind of goes for the whole video, because in spite of its absolute tastelessness, you'd be lying if you couldn't admit that it was attention grabbing and included all of the elements of 6ix9ine's viral mastery from day one. Because in addition to the on-screen drug use, rented Lambo, video thotties, or hardcore anime porn, he came up with a another rather ingenious technique where his gold grill having teeth performs the track, which is then played back on an iPhone and held up by various New Yorkers. I'm honestly impressed that he managed to get that many strangers to hold his phone that close to their face. I mean, this guy's walking around in an SDD Gang t-shirt. Passing that phone around probably caused a full-blown herpes outbreak in Bushwick. Anyway, this was all classic early 6ix9ine, going to great lengths to stoke controversy, shock, and maximum attention. The same thing that he did all the way through his career. In the final months of 2014, 6ix9ine actually dropped 2 more videos. The follow-up to the self-titled track was another delightful song called Pimpin'. Tekashi was there sporting his HIV gang fashion collection as he proceeds to rap in a shower with 2 ballied up thotties. I got a lot of respect for these women. I mean, think how much courage it takes to hang out naked in the shower with a guy wearing a shirt that says HIV gang. That's a gang you're not trying to get jumped into. The Pimpin' video featured yet more ASAP Rocky style cues. Geez, Tekashi, that grill looks ratchet. Looks like one I'd have made in primary school at Foyle. And he followed Pimpin' up with the track 4769 featuring JAB and Dirty Sanchez of 47. And what did that music video start with? You guessed it, yet another classless scene of 6ix9ine having a gangbang with someone's girlfriend. The video proceeds to show 6ix9ine rapping about what a dirty scumbag he is, whilst rapping next to 2 low-rent video thoughts, or high-rent drug addicts, depending on if you're a needle half-full kind of guy. These 3 videos, 6ix9ine, Pimpin', and 4769, are the perfect trilogy, summing up Act 1 of Tekashi's musical career in 2014. But he wasn't done. He was still a few yellow, stinky streaks away from the rainbow-headed madman he would want to become. And so he continued soul-searching, looking for those missing ingredients that he would need to take his career to the next level and become the true chieftain of Clout. Now, in his track Fuck Is You, 6ix9ine actually refers to himself as Walla Dan from Scum Gang 69. Apparently, Walla Dan is actually the combination of his first name Daniel and the Arabic word Wallah, which means swear to God. Apparently, 6ix9ine isn't religious, but he does believe in Allah. Hey, who knows, maybe Allah doesn't mind being trolled too. Of course, he is famous for his lighthearted sense of humor. Right, so this guy has been through a lot of personas. Danny Hernandez, Bodega Boy Danny, Pussy N-Word, Walla Dan, and finally Tekashi 6ix9ine. But what a lot of people really wanted to understand was what Tekashi 6ix9ine actually stood for. And like many of the tougher questions 6ix9ine has been asked throughout his career, he's given several different answers when pressed on the meaning and origins of his name. His longtime friend and videographer turned rapper Trife Drew previously said that Tekashi was just some fly shit that he'd stolen from anime culture. Hey, no wonder he's a master troll. The dude's probably spent hours on 4chan looking at hentai pics. His baby mama Sarah Molina said that he jacked it from a Japanese friend.
He had a roommate who came from Japan, I think. And his name was Tekashi, but it was spelled with an A. And I guess he liked that name, and he was like, yo, would you mind if I use this as my rap name? He was like, yeah, but just spell it different. And that's how he spelled it with the E.
Hey, it wouldn't be a first time a rapper jacked their whole swag from a Japanese friend, would it? However, in a long-forgotten interview with a Russian website, a pre-face-tatted 6ix9ine actually explained that he'd stolen the name Tekashi from a heroin junkie that he used to serve.
Yeah.
There was this heroin junkie named Tekashi, and he was really cool. I took that name, and
And the meaning of the 6ix9ine itself is even more mystifying. Initially, when Adam22 pressed him, he was reluctant to give up the goods.
So what's 6ix9ine mean to you? Is this your crew at a certain point? Or?
Yeah, 6ix9ine is just a lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? And it has to do a lot with how I came up, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get too much into what 6ix9ine is.
He's gone on to claim that it's because he's good at 69ing.
Where you get 6ix9ine from?
6ix9ine is just like, I'm very good at it. People told me that.
Hey, I'm sure he's even better at 69ing after that year in jail. Sometimes he's explained that it's simply the number of letters in each part of his government name.
Daniel Hernandez, like that's my name, Daniel Hernandez. And my rap name is 6ix9ine, right? So follow me. So Daniel has 6 letters in the name, and Hernandez have 9 letters in the name. So 6ix9ine Daniel Hernandez.
But we eventually got a long-winded and laughably pretentious explanation when he finally told fans that 6ix9ine was all about perspective, a way of putting yourself in other people's shoes, a modern yin and yang symbol.
What does this say?
6ix9ine.
What does it say?
6ix9ine.
Now when I cross it?
6ix9ine.
6ix9ine. Anywhere you put it, it's still 6ix9ine.
No, what do you?
Oh,
you
I see 9.
I see 6. Right? What do you see?
6.
What I see?
9.
What did you see before?
9.
What did I see?
6.
Alright, so you literally just put yourself in my shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
To see what I saw.
Mm.
So basically, say I'm poor, right? I'm poor. you're rich. We could switch it. You're rich, I'm poor.
Funny how he wasn't able to put himself in other people's perspective when he was, you know, arranging hits, ordering robberies, or snitching on all of his homies. But that's none of my business. So that's why he was running around calling himself Tekashi 6ix9ine. But one more question mark remained amongst his early fans. Why was he running around shouting that other catchphrase? I'm not talking about Treyway, I'm talking about Scum Gang!
Yo, man, Tekashi 6ix9ine, you know, Pop Scum and the Scum Gang, you feel me? We gotta come show love to the Scum Gang family.
6ix9ine had been shouting out a New York-based rap and art collective called Scum Gang ever since his first ever song. And that first 6ix9ine music video actually showed him getting a scum tattoo on his arm. Now the crew's name stands for Society Can't Understand Me.
Scum, society can't understand me.
Meaning which 6ix9ine has flouted throughout his career as a message of positive empowerment for his disenfranchised young fans.
I stand out for the kids that can't stand out for themselves. They're outcasts or some type of joke to, like, you know, society. And that's what SCUM stands for. SCUM stands for Society Can't Understand Me. And that's where Scum Gang comes into play, you know what I mean? And that's for all the troubled kids and all the kids that, you know, live day by day just trying to get through their day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But while the Society Can't Understand Me acronym is the most prevalent, these guys seem to make up a new one every fucking day.
We in the studio strategically create universal music. Successfully count unlimited money.
Heard you.
Everything I say you remember, so stickiness consumes unconscious minds.
Hey, and if all of that wasn't enough of a waste of saliva, they also came up with an acronym for GANG, the Gifted and Natural Grinders. Sounds like the name of the special ed class at business school. Anyway, Scum Gang was founded by a man named Scum Lord Dizzy, and the crew has included a whole bunch of people over its lifetime, but some of the significant members include Young Az and AI Scum, female rapper Prima Donna, and Busy Blaze. Now, it was actually Tekashi's longtime friend and designer of his pussy N-word clothing, Chad, along with his buddy Righteous P, who had brought 6ix9ine to the attention of Busy Blaze of Scum Gang. Busy Blaze had been telling the founder, Scum Lord Dizzy, to bring these poppin' young rappers under the Scum Gang banner once he realized how smart they were being with their viral online strategy.
Then he got a part of Scum Gang because I personally brought him on board. Tekashi and his team, which was P, Righteous P, and another dude named Chad. I brought him on board because of how crazy they were willing to get. Wow. And I understood how important viral shit would have been then.
Now, Scum Lord Dizzy was initially hesitant, but ultimately came around to the idea and brought these kids under their wing. Hell, they even taught him their secret handshake, because how else are you going to know that somebody else is a member of Scum Gang? Well, apart from the massive scum tattoo on their arm. They helped 6ix9ine improve his rapping and writing ability from way back when he sounded like a budget Wu-Tang knockoff.
Say it just like that, clearer, then it can rock. But if not, you're gonna have to start slow that bar up.
I mean, it's no surprise he was rapping like this at this point. I mean, the whole of Scum Gang are pretty much a dollar store Wu-Tang knockoff. I mean, look at the cover of their first mixtape. Now, during the years that followed this meeting, Tekashi continued to push his music into 2015 with non-stop references to Scum Gang. In February of 2015, he dropped the mixtape Scummy Scums, featuring all the tracks from his YouTube posts. He followed that up with the anime-inspired Shinigami music video featuring Bodega Bams, and this begun the trend of 6ix9ine moving away from videos that were filled with sex and video thoughts, and towards videos and songs that were much more about violence, guns, and goons. Now, interestingly, as well as being a bunch of rappers, Scum Gang also seemed to be affiliated with the Crips. After all, one of the earliest examples of the founder Scum Lord Dizzy rapping is a half-assed Crip remix of Black and Yellow called White and Navy. But despite having many members that were supposedly affiliated with the Crips, apparently it had been made very clear that Scum Gang was not actually a gang unit or Crip group.
All that gang banging shit and all that shit, the Scum Gang shit wasn't even on that shit.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm saying? So when that was my session that these niggas came to, you know what I'm saying? It was we was doing some pay homage to Wu-Tang shit, and these niggas is rhyming on Wu-Tang beats. 6ix9ine came through. He wants to put blue in his video. That's the look he wanted. Fine.
So let's just make one thing clear at this stage for the record. 6ix9ine was never a Crip, and Scum Gang was always an art collective that just so happened to have a bunch of Crips involved. But it seemed like 6ix9ine really just wanted to take advantage of these affiliations, taking the opportunity to constantly big up his gang ties for musical clout, seemingly without a care for what color he was actually repping. All he wanted was goons, and it didn't matter what they were repping, Blood, Crip, or goddamn Grove Street. And in July, 6ix9ine's track Scum Life drops and becomes his first official street hit. And the whole track just seems like a love letter to gang membership. The title title card says "Rep Your Gang." It's got an aggressive hook about repping your gang, which he performs while surrounded by scummy goons. 6ix9ine even ended the video with a "Free all the scums" tag, while a blue rag rocking Crip threatened you down the camera lens. Yes, the man with a big assault rifle, I think he should be free. Now, in my opinion, the song Scum Life represented a pivotal moment in 6ix9ine's musical development. It was the first moment that he realized a tough guy gangster persona would get him way more traction than a dirty sleazebag. It was also the first time that he'd successfully managed to use another group's cultural cachet to benefit himself. It was the first time he'd used gang affiliations to increase his saleability. And we later found out when he testified in court that he'd originally become a gangster and a blood to try and further his music career, citing Cardi B having done the same thing. And he really wasn't lying when he said that. And it turns out he was happy to do the same thing with Crips at the start of his career. And this was the beginning of 6ix9ine riding on other people's clout trains, only for as long as he needed them. And when he stopped needing them, he tossed them to one side like a used junk needle. Because that's exactly what happened to Scum Gang, admittedly with less snitching. By 2017, when he'd blown up, 6ix9ine had completely left Scum Gang behind. Yet he was still shouting it at the start of songs, and he'd begun to say in interviews that he'd invented the whole movement, shouting it out with the same empowerment angle that he'd mentioned previously.
You know, we from Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? I started Scum Gang back in like 2014, 2013.
After that interview came out, apparently Scum Lord Dizzy tried to get in touch with Charlemagne with info that would expose 6ix9ine.
Scum Lord Dizzy called Charlemagne through this nigga named KD from in California.
Apparently Charlemagne didn't want to get involved and passed the contact to 6ix9ine's bae, DJ Academics.
When I go to my therapist's office at 3, I don't want to mention Tekashi 6ix9ine. I don't want to mention Scum Gang. I don't want to mention anything that we talked about on this one.
He says, yo, there's this dude, I know you covered this Tekashi guy, there's these guys, they say they're like the real Scum Gang, blah, blah, blah. I'm too old for this shit, I don't understand this new nigga shit. Yo, link up with these guys and whatever. So he facilitated the connect for me to be in communication with some guys who say they're Scum Gang.
This even came up in a moment that slipped many people by in 6ix9ine's first viral Breakfast Club interview.
And I heard that you are cool with Scum Gang from Flatbush. Academics said that you was cool with.
Yeah, they called me one night and they was like, yo, I got all this information on 6ix9ine. I said, I don't care.
Yeah, but you work with them.
No, I
But
don't.
anyway, listen. So
now apparently 6ix9ine and Scum Gang hadn't been cool in years at this point.
But apparently the Scum Gang thing, like Tekashi screams it before every song, but other people, that's their thing, and they're not cool with Tekashi anymore.
And around this time, a mini documentary emerged featuring footage of 6ix9ine in the studio with Scum Gang from the early days when they were helping him develop as an artist. And funnily enough, Academics eventually got pulled up on by Scum Lord Dizzy in New York.
Yeah, Scum Gang Complex. You already know what time it is. Interview.
Where he tried to explain the story from the beginning with all of the erratic charisma of a man on 3 pills at a house party trying to explain to me why Epstein did 9/11.
When we linked, they wanted to go under Scum Gang 6ix9ine, like a branch of for me. So my agreement was for them to do that with Righteous. He was like the CEO of their branch, and I'm the CEO. We created the shit, but it was all for everyone is Scum. That's our slogan, everyone is Scum.
So the young'uns were initially brought in under the guise of being Scum Gang 69, a smaller youthful unit of the Scum Gang movement. Lil Scum Gang, if you will. And he confirmed that the real reason that 6ix9ine had fallen out with the Scums was because he was blowing up too fast and refusing to promote any of the other people in the movement.
2016, because 6ix9ine wasn't listening to like how Righteous was telling him, you gotta promote the other Scums because they promoting our shit, they co-signing us in the streets, so they gonna fuck, you know, they fan base gonna fuck with us, but we gotta do the same thing. But Righteous is telling me, yo, he not listening. 6ix9ine was like ungrateful and he was trying to like block out anybody that helped him. He just wanted to be the #1 person that shine.
Apparently Dizzy was also not feeling the whole goth wave movement that 69 was repping.
But we don't want Scum Gang just to be looked at as that, like some dirty, low type of brand. Like you gotta be like, you know, a weirdo and extreme to be a part of it.
As well as having spent a lot of effort trying to distance the group from having gang affiliations, which was in conflict with 6ix9ine, who was constantly trying to prove his gang affiliations for clout purposes.
I'm like, no, we already worked hard to take it from like some gangbanging shit to make it more universal, because that took a while.
So from there, the relationship between Scum Gang and 69 would never be healed. As the years went on, Scum Lord Dizzy tried to piggyback on the clout chain by dropping a 6ix9ine diss called Scummo, and although he didn't go into massive details, and Scum Lord Dizzy later claimed to be getting points on 6ix9ine's career out of a supposed early record deal that he'd signed with Scum Gang.
We get ends from that. Okay, it's not completely separate. All right. Yeah, he's our artist. You know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. He's our mascot. This guy is signed. His 2 singles is signed to Scum Gang Records. You feel me? So Scum Gang Records is on the Billboard. As well as 6IX9INE, you feel me? Right.
And it didn't seem like he was capping, because in February 2018, when 6ix9ine's Day 6ix9ine project dropped, it was released under the banner of the label that he'd recently signed to, 10,000 Projects, Caroline Distribution, and surprisingly, Scum Gang Records.
Elliot Grange is just a loner, you know what I mean? And 10K is just a bank. You know what I mean? Nobody runs around saying like, yo, I'm signed with Wells Fargo.
And as the story went on, the bad blood was never over between 6ix9ine and the original Scum Gang. A year later, a Scum branded backpack that was stolen from Scum Lord Dizzy in April was recovered following a raid on 6ix9ine's home. This was actually a backpack stolen in that famous Times Square robbery involving Rap-A-Lot records that we saw emerge in 6ix9ine's trial, which I will be covering in more detail later. But for now, let's stick to 2016. 6ix9ine had his official gang certifications that he needed from Scum Gang, but the area that he was lacking most was his style, his persona, his look, his feel, his sound. If the original Scum Gang took 6ix9ine from 0 to 1, then it was a gang of people that included Righteous P, Scumbag Chad, Zilla Kami, and So Smoola that took him from 1 to 10. And so in the next episode, we'll be taking a closer look at the people who helped 6ix9ine develop and evolve his style into what we know it as today. Oh, and we'll also look at how they had a bitter falling out and became mortal enemies. That seems to be a pattern in 6ix9ine's story.
Hey yo, it's your boy, Tekashi 6ix9ine. I want to give a huge shout out to my patrons, Javier Gonzalez, DJ Fred 100, Henry Bryant, Josh Knappin, and Niraj Shukla. Make sure you go and cop that clothing from traplord.com, blood. There ain't no t-shirts that say HIV or STD, but there's some fire clothes, you heard? Follow your boy Traplord Ross on Instagram, and be sure to support the channel by dropping a like and a comment below. Scum Gang! Oh. Peace.